From streaks to slumps and even miracle runs, Schalke has experienced it all. So how does a team with such dramatic results stay focused on their collective goal? Well, that's why we're here today, to show you all the things you don't normally get to see, from the relationships to the environment and even the practice itself. All right, welcome to this EUphoria feature at the Schalke House, Neon and Broken Blade. Before we get into questions proper, how are you guys this morning? I know it's early. It's noon now, so I feel like we've officially hit gamer hours. But is this too early in the morning for you guys to be doing anything as intense as an interview?
For me, me and Neon both we wake up I think the earliest on the team, so it's kind of like we're always already playing at this time, yeah. which makes me feel good just to practice already, before scrims.
Yeah, Neon, you were jamming right before we came here. You were the first guy in the office grinding solo queue, streaming.
Yeah, to be honest, I was a little tilted because I'm a morning streamer right now.
Yeah.
So I've been streaming mornings, but now I couldn't because you guys came.
Well.
So I just had to deal with playing one game of solo queue.
Look, I appreciate your commitment. I'll come into your chat. I'll apologize. I'll be like, guys, I deprived you of a day of Neon. I'll gift a couple subs. We can make it good. There you go. We'll try to boost those viewership numbers. A normal scrim day for Schalke starts with the team meeting. This is where they can discuss their objectives and where to focus their efforts. The meeting leads into an hour of solo queue, which acts as a warm-up before their 5 scheduled games. In between each scrim, they sit down and review the game as a team. For someone who doesn't know, for someone who's not aware of how these things work in League of Legends or maybe in esports in general, can you explain the overall concept of scrims, what scrims are, what they do?
So scrims are our primary, I guess other than people playing on their own solo queue, scrims are our primary method of practice and improving as a team. Basically, we just play games against another team. Usually it's an LEC team scrimming another LEC team. The games are usually a lot more loose and fight heavy than a stage match. Usually people are a bit more willing to try different picks, try different strategies, and it's basically where everything you see in the official matches on the weekend are kind of formulated and practiced by the teams.
Let's say today, for example,
yeah.
How granular are the goals you set? How broad are the goals you set for your team overall?
It depends. Sometimes it's we need to fix our Rift Herald play, so we're going to watch Rift Herald VODs for all week, and we're going to talk about every single Rift Herald and every single scrim until we fix it. That's something we did a couple weeks ago because we kept failing our Rift Herald setups. And then it actually got better, which I think is good and shows we're improving. But sometimes it's something really specific, like stop dying level 1 in the specific lane matchup in scrims, because it keeps happening, which obviously often isn't going to happen on stage, but it's a very specific thing where someone needs to work on that. So it kind of depends, I would say.
Yeah, and how would so when is a day successful for you then as a coach? When do you decide a successful day? Is it we picked Rift Heralds, our Rift Heralds are getting a little bit better? Is that enough? How do you know when it's been a successful day of scrims for the team, for Schalke?
I think it's important the normal answer is say you shouldn't be results oriented, and even if you're losing, if you're improving, it's good. But it would be nice to not lose most of the games, because I feel like if you're just losing over and over and over again, it puts you in a rough spot because it's hard to figure out what to draft. It's hard to figure out what the actual issues are. So I say a successful day is where at least we're winning some of the games, first of all. It shows we're being competitive, gives people confidence. And then second of all, that we have some good discussion and improve on some of the things that we're actually working on. So if it's a Rift Herald thing, for example, we made some good rotations for Rift and got it a few times, and I can mark it on the board. And
so not quite the old Daylor adage of lose is improve, but a little bit of winning and some positive steps in the direction of your bigger goals, and you feel that's a solid day.
Exactly.
When it comes to what you guys want to work on personally, how do you actually decide and figure out what you want to set your goals for as individuals? We'll start with you, BB.
Usually it comes to when my teammates criticize me in scrims, saying I do something not very good. I try to be open-minded. Obviously, sometimes I have strong opinions about some things, but most of the time I try to really listen to them and try to think about why they're saying things. But most of the time it's about champions that I have to learn. For example, there's new champions in the meta right now. People are playing a lot more Cyan. When they started playing Gnar a lot, I had to pick it up in solo queue, and just things like that. I really have to work on, because it's just really important to be having those meta champs in your pocket,
Yeah. How about for you, Neon? Is it the same thing where like people like, is it mostly criticism from your teammates that's coming in to like help define your personal goals?
Not really. Like for me, the personal goals, it's like me in a Scrim environment, it's like mostly it's like a clown fiesta. So I just want to be really good at identifying which fights to not follow my teammates into and like back and I'm like, okay guys, I'm letting you die now. So this is like one thing that I want to get better at.
Yeah.
And it's like my goal. And the other one would be being able to tell or like make sure that teammates know what I need. Because for example, when I'm fed, like sometimes I'm just like assuming that my teammates will play around me how I want them to play around me.
Yeah.
But that's not entirely true. Like maybe we are not all on the same wavelength. So I kind of need to like be able to tell them what I want from them. So that's like also one of my goals. But yeah, basically this like just not getting sucked into a clown fiesta and just playing my own game for now.
Dang, it sounds like it can be difficult on some days based on everything that you guys have said. What progress do you actually see like day to day, week to week, whether it's personal goals or big goals? And how much of that like comes from scrims? Like what does progress look like to you? Is it like in week 1 we were bad at this, by week 3 we're really good at this? How much progress and change do you actually see day to day? Well, myself, I see quite some progress. Like LEC is like a level on its own. And like, for example, last year when I was here, I didn't think I was so good like individually. I didn't really feel like I'm on that level yet. But this year I totally feel like I can compete with anyone. And it's just like, the more you play against the best, like you will eventually like become one of the best. So for me, I think the more I play, the more I improve, and also as a team, but so does everyone else. So you need to make sure that the rate at which you improve on is like higher than the others. Yeah. Which maybe we have not done such a good job at so far. So as a team, let's say.
The time is now 12:30, and Schalke are getting ready to start their team meeting. This is where we get a glimpse firsthand at how Dylan and the players manage feedback and which areas they want to focus on that day.
A reoccurring issue that we have, and that is that we don't reset together. He takes the raid camp and he doesn't recall instantly, and for some reason Yugili is sitting here.
But I think that you are also not doing a mistake.
Me?
I think you should sync your base with your jungler's tempo. And if he wants to do the topside camps, you need to stay one more away for pressure.
Go back?
Not really.
No, you do.
No, I don't.
You do.
No, I don't.
You really do.
No, I don't.
Why not?
Because he's gonna march to the camps, he's gonna base, and we're gonna play it on the next wave that spawns.
I think it's just more important that like we're here for retake on bot.
Manches these 2 camps.
I mean, then we can't sync our bases.
I agree. Yeah, but okay, it doesn't necessarily have to be we base at the same time and it's completely synced. It just means you don't want to base 30 seconds apart of each other.
Yes, I agree.
That's the general idea, okay?
Actually, it's the guy who's on strong side is good if you like dictate the tempo of the map. Yeah. Because you're the strong side.
Yeah.
Because when you're basing on top, you're like talking about bot tower already. I think everybody's going to play accordingly to the play, and it turns into a 5-man play. So we can try this. Tomorrow, I'm assuming we're going to be red side, but I guess it could be either as they have side selection. Well, we had a problem in this game where we wanted to path top, right? And then we wanted, like, you guys need your jungler bot early levels, so we can have a focus on that today.
Yeah, I caught up. Also, I have TP advantage now.
Their bot lane could both be there.
I'm running to you guys. Yes, I'm basing already.
Are you guys always so upfront and honest with each other? Like, hey, I really think you're weak in this area. I think you're bad in this area. How easy is it to have those conversations?
I mean, personally, for me, it's gotten a lot easier from the time I was in NA. A lot of people were actually holding back a lot of problems in the beginning, and I was like really, like I was fuming because if I'm bad and you think I'm bad, please tell me so I can at least work on it, you know. I think that communication is key in almost everything in life. And if I don't know that I'm doing something bad that I'm not aware of, I can give you an example. In 2019 spring, I think, my coach thought that I was bad at side laning and I wanted to play side laning champs, but he just didn't pick it for me, and I didn't know why I was like not allowed to pick it. But then like I couldn't even work on it, you know? And that's why I kind of learned how to like communicate with my teammates. And I don't want to offend anyone on my team by saying that I think they're doing something bad. It's just like, I want to get better, and I want you to get better as my teammate. So obviously I'm going to tell you things that I think you could do better.
Yeah. Neon, do you think that the viewpoint is kind of shared by the entire Schalke team?
I think so too. Like whenever I had something to say, like there might have been like a couple of days where I like kept it inside of me. But when it like really came to it, it just like exploded. But then everyone was fine with it.
Yeah.
So as like being honest goes, I think we're doing a pretty good job.
What does it actually take to like maintain that honest environment? Because you talk about some of the days, is it hard to like, is it harder to open up and tell people that you think they're performing poorly, or is it harder to like hold back a little bit and make sure that it's actually good feedback and not just like flame?
Well, I think it really depends on the kinds of relationships that you have with your teammates. And I must say that like in this team, in this roster, in this lineup, I have a really good relationship with everyone. And I think everyone does have like a very good relationship with everyone. As in like, we're just friends,
Yeah.
And like, we're all young guys who are just like fine being friends with each other. So if this is the case, then it's very easy. But say you have someone who you're not so close to and who maybe isn't like that great of a friend of yours and you just consider him like a colleague, then yeah, it is a bit harder to like bring criticism up to them.
Scrims are now well underway. Schalke have just finished their second game. The result? A win. However, in Scrims, a positive result doesn't necessarily mean the players are happy with their performance.
I think this was good, no? Harold played this game? It was actually like coordinated and good? Can we focus? Two things, no? Resets and retakes. It lets all these random times we get picked off on the map stop happening. Because all we need to do after we get tempo is just base, retake the other side, and then the game's just completely stabilized.
Why is no one giving about top lane here, other than me?
By the way, I literally said we need to be there on this wave.
Yes, like why is and off in the jungle?
I'm not off, I'm farming.
Yeah, but you shouldn't be, because we're on a timer. You can farm after we take the tower. But if he gets the tower, we're actually so f***ed on the map.
Like, if you want to TP top and go mid, that's fine. But I think here, should run straight top, and you should just run mid.
Yes.
I think that's the best play.
So talk to me a little bit about how the team mentality changes from the start of the day to the end of the day, what that looks like. Does practice, is it hard to maintain a good practice quality as the day goes on?
So teams actually used to, in Europe, scrim 6 games. It was, I think, modeled after the Korean practice schedule, where they did 3 blocks and then 3 blocks with a break. Sometimes the break would actually be pretty long in between. The days would get quite long, and often you would find by the 6th game, teams would cancel pretty often, or the 6th game would just be not good quality, like a complete fiesta. So we've kind of gone down to a 5-game schedule in Europe. I think some other regions have implemented this as well, where you can play the game straight, get it while you're a bit more fresh. Obviously, it's a bit more fatiguing, but it also prepares you for a best-of-5 scenario, which I guess most teams should be thinking about, right? Because that's what playoffs are. By the end of the day, I would say things usually get a bit lower quality game-wise, but I think it depends. There's some days where people can keep their focus to 5 games, and the quality is pretty good. But if one team is just like losing or winning every game, often by the last game, it can get a bit loose, I would say.
So how much of this like attitude and this mentality changes when you're winning versus like losing on stage? Like how much harder is it to come into a week of scrims with a good mentality, with like maybe this growth focused mindset that you guys are talking about, when maybe the stage games are going better or going worse? Like what actually changes week to week?
Well, so I would say first off, when we had this 4-game winning streak, it might have like gotten into our heads a bit.
Yeah.
Or like it might have made people take scrims less seriously or try hard less, which I think can happen to many teams, and which I think could have been the case for us, where you're like, okay, we're really good now. We don't really need to put in all this effort again. And like, to me, it was not the same, because in the back of my head, I knew that those four games we won this year at the start were like, we're kind of lucky with the drafts and with how the enemy teams have been playing. So, yeah, I mean, I didn't like put my guard down, but maybe we have put our guard down as a team, and we came on a lose streak.
I know this is a difficult time period, and I'll be honest, I was kind of hoping you guys would be like popping off right before I came to do these interviews. I thought it might make everything a little bit smoother, but since you guys are in the midst of a bit of a difficult loss streak, what keeps you motivated, like week to week? What is it that keeps you hungry? What is it keeps you believing in this practice system that you guys have invested so much into?
For me, it's the trust I have in my teammates and myself, because I think that I just played League of Legends for so long, and I know how good all my teammates are, and I know how good they can be as well, and I just see the potential in them, and that's what kind of keeps me going, also for myself. I just know that we can be a very good team. That is what kind of keeps me going.
Yeah, would you say it's the same for you?
Well, for me, it's a bit harder, I think, because like I used to be really thrilled to like play on stage, and it doesn't really feel like you're playing in LEC up until you go on the stage, So it's a bit harder to stay motivated, but what keeps me going is the fact that I realized that I'm playing esports and that I can compete on such a high level, and it's kind of exciting when you think about it, right? Like all these years that Earth has existed for, and only like this past decade esports has been a thing. Like I am kind of lucky, am I not? Like, and all the other players, right? So it's just kind of a beautiful thing that I can compete here and play video games for a living.
Wow.
And I guess that kind of keeps me going.
That is the most wholesome thing anyone is like. Yours was so team spirited, BB, but that was just wholesome. Like that was so like appreciative. Like my life is very good. I get these great opportunities.
It had to come out at one point.
After 2 wins and 2 losses, Schalke's Scrim Day is concluded. Despite these losses, the spirits in the final meeting of the day remain high.
Yeah, okay. If the AD carry is mid and you guys want to fully swap and I'm top, end up top. So you push one wave mid, this wave, and then you go top. I base after this wave, and you push this wave and you go mid from here. If you need to base, you base, and I base in your bot.
It actually makes some sense, yeah. Jackson would have called us actually.
Yeah.
My bad.
You guys don't know this.
We are red side tomorrow. Bans are locked. I think bans will be. I don't know.
You're not afraid of.
They're not even prioing it. And honestly, so many of our champs are good against this week.
Okay, good luck, bot lane.
You know?
You guys got this.
And thank you guys for being okay with all the camera people here today. I hope they make some banger content. It's much appreciated. And that's a wrap for the day.
What is so special about Schalke? What's so special about this team? Like, why are you like so committed to making this team work? Is it a belief in the players? Is it a belief in the org? Like, what is it about Schalke that makes it special?
I'd say more than anything is I really believe in the talent of our players. I really believe that some of our players are so unbelievably talented that if we can make it work, we can really compete with the best teams. And I think we've shown that because we've won so many times against the best teams. So I think that's kind of what I think is special about our team. It's like kind of like the potential and the talent that we have. And then also I think our team environment is really good, and I really enjoy working here because of that. So I think those two things.
Schalke are willing to set aside ego and personal frustration in pursuit of their goals. Being good at League of Legends is no longer just a matter of mechanics or understanding of high-level play. It's about how you work in a team, whether it's ambition, leadership, or just a seemingly endless font of confidence. What you see on stage can never capture the full story. Behind the results, good or bad, are a team of professionals giving everything they have to improve day by day.